The actress playing Cinderella isn't white. There's no prince. They changed the story. What am I gonna tell my kids?
After the Snow White flop at the box office. Now, Disney is not coming forward and saying exactly why this Tangled live-action remake has been halted and whether or not it's been just paused or indefinitely halting.
Snow White hands Disney a $300 million loss. $500 million so far in 2025.
Alright, strap in, because it's already April 2025 and somehow, we're still talking about Snow White. Not in the magical, nostalgic way we used to. No, this is the version of Snow White that Disney would probably like to shove into a vault and pretend never existed. A financial black hole, a cinematic train wreck, a disaster so bad that it makes The Acolyte look like a box office triumph.
So it is already the beginning of April of 2025, and still to this day, the Walt Disney Company is dealing with the box office metrics surrounding Snow White, which, by the way, are abysmal beyond belief. We already know that there are massive numbers that Disney is dealing with right now when it comes to the box office results that are really not welcoming to them. We know that they lost well over $300 million for this movie when factoring in marketing expenses and even the press tour, the traveling expenses for Rachel Zegler. The marketing campaign as a whole really contributed to more losses on Disney's end.
Let's not sugarcoat this. Disney lost over $300 million on this film. That's not just production costs. We're talking marketing, international promotion, press tours, the whole "let's make Rachel Zegler the next big thing" campaign. They spent millions trying to make her palatable to general audiences, and the result, a colossal backfire. And now, the Disney PR machine, led by the ever-so-desperate Bob Iger, is scrambling like a headless chicken doing damage control every few weeks, pretending this wasn't the worst financial faceplant Disney has seen in years. But here's where it gets even more ridiculous. Celebrities are now coming out, not to apologize, not to own the failure, but to defend this movie. Defend it. And not just defend it, but attack the critics who rightfully called it out for what it was, an insufferable, agenda-driven mess with zero heart and even less substance. And leading the charge of delusion? Bill Burr. Yeah, that Bill Burr, the guy who once prided himself on common sense, on calling it like it is. The stand-up comedian who used to skewer Hollywood hypocrisy and didn't hold back. That guy is now losing his mind on stage, on podcasts, and probably in the shower, over the fact that people didn't like Snow White. So what exactly did he say? Oh, it was a masterclass in cluelessness. Burr went on this bizarre rant, practically foaming at the mouth, saying things like, "What's with all these families getting bent out of shape over a Disney princess movie? Because her skin is different. Don't give me that garbage." Really, Bill? That's your takeaway? That people are upset because the character looks different? Not because the film was garbage from top to bottom? Not because Disney gutted a beloved fairy tale and replaced it with whatever that Frankenstein script was?
He just continues down this path. So here he was yesterday torching conservatives because how can we be outraged over the Snow White remake? Dude, your entire brand is outrage over random. That's literally what Bill Burr does for a living. Have you seen his comedy? It's funny. Like, seriously, it's funny. And by the way, so is making fun of Snow White. It's funny. I'm sorry that the Snow White movie sucked, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry at all that we forced, basically as a company, Daily Wire forced Snow White into production again. It was supposed to come out like a year and a half ago. And then we went after them so hard because of their variety of ridiculous sins that they actually went into full-scale reshoots on Snow White when we announced that we had a competitor of Snow White that was coming out. Anyway, Bill Burr is very angry with those of you who think that Snow White sucked and are making fun of Snow White.
For conservative people to act like they're not the biggest babies also is hilarious. Have you seen this? My people, Whitey, we're all upset. There's enough of us to get it going, trending anyway. We're upset about the new Cinderella movie.
The actress playing Cinderella isn't white. There's no prince. They changed the story. What am I going to tell my kids?
That my people get upset about.
What am I going to tell my kids?
He didn't stop there. He kept going, mocking parents who don't want to bring their kids to see it. He basically told them to grow a pair, and if they're that offended, they should just close their eyes and go to sleep in the theater. Yes, Bill Burr is now telling parents to literally fall asleep during movies instead of holding studios accountable for releasing trash. That's where we're at. And
because Bill Burr has been having an absolutely insane meltdown over the backlash that Snow White has been facing and receiving. He just is is losing his mind over the entire thing. It's absolutely hilarious, and we do have the video of him talking about that. But I mean, we're at a point right now with the backlash that Snow White is receiving where we're even seeing people like John Lennon's son, who is completely roasting Rachel Zegler and the Snow White film. Rachel Zegler is labeled spoiled and ungrateful by John Lennon's son over Snow White box office bomb. Absolutely hilarious. And Bill Burr is not happy about any of this. He's not happy with the fact that there is backlash towards the film. He is not happy about any of it. And apparently Bill Burr is now turning into an absolute Rachel Zegler simp, and it is absolutely pathetic.
And here's the kicker. He even questioned what message Disney was trying to push in the movie, as if nobody has any right to mention the word woke without handing in a full research paper on it. You want to know the message, Bill? It's not subtle. Disney took a classic tale about kindness, love, and redemption and turned it into a smug, self-righteous lecture. They sidelined the original story in favor of cheap one-liners about girl boss empowerment, stripped away everything magical, and topped it off with a main character who looked like she'd rather be anywhere else than in the movie she's starring in.
To deny that Bill Burr has completely done an about-face would be to deny reality. And now he's blasting people for making fun of the Snow White movie. I mean, he's just literally capitulating to the left. He's no longer like an everyman. He's literally turning into that dork. And by the way, his podcast sucks. The views for his podcast are terrible. And now maybe it's better on Spotify. I don't know that answer, but the views on his podcast are cratering. And I just wonder why that might be. I wonder why perhaps, 3-4 months ago, Bill Burr was getting 150, 200,000 views. And now he's getting 50,000 or 30,000 or 20,000. I mean, the guy has Keith Urban on and can't even break 100,000 views. I think it's because he let his mask slip, either that or somebody has something on him, because this is a really bizarre take.
I don't care what Bill Burr says. Be funny. If your job description is comedian and now he's riffing on conservatives, it wasn't funny. If it was funny, which funny is rooted in truth. But all I'm saying is, I don't care if Bill Burr makes fun of left, right, whatever. Just be funny. It was objectively not funny. Did you laugh?
Oh, from Bill Burr? What do you?
Yeah, just now what we saw, the clip.
No,
Yeah,
I was quite insulted, by the way.
He went after the critics again, saying, if you want a Snow White movie that reflects you, go watch the one from 1937 or something. Well, guess what, Bill? People are, because the 1937 version wasn't perfect, but at least it respected the source material. It wasn't made with the intention of wagging a finger at the audience. It had heart. It had care. This new one, it's a slap in the face to anyone who actually grew up loving Disney movies before they became lecture series on Disney+.